Hi everyone, Evan here at the McChronicle for April 24th, 2020, where that future starts today. I got a viewer question on McChronicle Media a couple of days ago. What I wanted to do in this video was go ahead and answer it to the best of my ability at least. This question came from Confused Canadian. Thanks for the question, by the way. You made a helpful video surviving the downturn 10 months ago. Can you make a latest video of the same thing, factoring in the latest events? Thank you. By the way, thank you so much for the question. And also to everyone out there, if you have a question for me on this or anything else in relation to the channel, please hit me up on Twitter, reply, DM, whatever you choose. You can also send me an email also. All that information, if you click the logo either on YouTube or on either one of my Twitter accounts, all of the information will be there for you. Feel free to go ahead and do so if you do choose. Now, to answer the question, I'm going to bring over two things from one, that previous video, and two, another video I did about 2 months ago, which is going to play into answering the question here. The most important point from the video in reference about 10 months ago, which by the way, if you do want to watch it, I'll leave a link in the description box below. One main point from that video was have a rainy day fund in case, heaven forbid, you do lose your job. Because right now, with the economy the way it is, obviously the chances of us losing our jobs have gone way up. So in this, for the rainy day fund, I said if possible, have minimum 9 months living expenses put away. Again, if you can, every situation is different. If you can't put away 9 months, put away what you can. And by the way, I'm going to add to point number 1 here later on in the video, in part to answer the viewer's question. So keep this in mind. And now number 2, have physical cash with you. If you can, have at least 1 paycheck's worth in your house, tucked away somewhere, and you only tap in the absolute worst of emergencies. Now, why am I saying this? It's a hedge. It's a hedge against a few things. One, in case they go to negative interest rates. Because if you have cash at the bank and there's negative interest rates, you're paying the bank to have the money there. So would you rather pay the bank or have the cash with you and you're paying 0 on that? Answer that question, we all know the answer. 2, and again, it's a hedge for this. It's the worst of worst case scenarios. Keep that in mind. For either A, if there's a system issue at your bank and you can't pull money out, or B, if the ATMs run dry. Again, last case scenario of last case scenarios, but again, it could happen. We should be prepared for it. And C, again, one I'll accept, and a third one I'll throw out here. Again, I'll accept it. It isn't really the intended use of it, but if you're right before payday and you don't have enough money to pay for an essential, rent, food, utilities, in that situation, I'll accept you pulling out of that fund and reimbursing it at a later date. Okay? That's the second one. And before I finally do answer the question, I just want to state here, the video I did 10 months ago still applies. If you haven't watched the video, I'll leave a link in the description. Please go ahead and do so. Now to go ahead and finally answer the question. First thing I would do, in reference to the rainy day fund, and frankly, this is one thing I should have mentioned in the previous video, by the way. First thing I would do, in relation to the rainy day fund, please make sure the rainy day fund is with a bank you don't have a debt with. Whether it's a car loan, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's a HELOC, whether it's a credit card, whether it's a line of credit, whatever it is, make sure it's with a bank you don't have a debt with. Now here's why I say that. If you look at the terms and conditions of pretty much every loan out there, again, not saying this is always the case, but in a vast majority of cases at least, if you have a bank account with the same bank you have the loan with, if you're behind a few payments, they have the power to pull from that account for anything outstanding. The money's there for a reason. The reason isn't for regular everyday banking. So why give them that chance? Okay? So whether it is, whether it isn't, again, I can't speak to your individual situation, but as a rule of thumb, if you have debt with that bank, don't put the rainy day fund with that bank also. Okay? That's rule number one. And the second and last thing I would do, if you need to make a large scale purchase within the next 2 years, have that money in nothing else but cash. Whether it's physical, whether it's in an account, it's nothing else but cash. Now, why am I saying this? This isn't a prediction of where any market is going to go in the next 2 years. What I'm saying is, because of the economic times we're about to go through, if not we're through right now, we need to make sure that money is there for when we need it. Now, what's a large-scale purchase? In my opinion, anything $5,000 and up, you need to make in the next 2 years. Whatever it is, again, I'm not in the business of getting in anyone's life. That can be for you to decide. Don't ask me about it, okay? But if it needs to be done in the next 2 years, we need that money there. Better safe than sorry. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, follow both my accounts on Twitter. And before I go, to this viewer, thank you so much for the question, by the way. But as always, my name is Evan. This is the McChronicle, where the future starts today.